You're going to be leaving that people trying to gay porn, remember? Hey, listen, this is it, baby. We live, baby. We live.
Only fans.
Know it.
CheekySport only fans in that.
It's calm. We got no viewers. Listen, welcome to the Football Fickos quarantine.
Hold on, have you advertised this? Did you advertise this?
Yeah.
No, we put it on Premiere.
Yeah, about 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but you didn't tell us.
Wait, are we talking to ourselves at the moment?
No, if you check the live comments,
Jack,
just like that 15 man are here. 15. All right, guys, welcome to the Football Fickos quarantine. You here with myself, Big Day.
You here, CheekySport, Ak.
Like a Chris.
Relegation Jack, baby.
Listen, man. Welcome to a new little setup. As you guys can see in the corners, we've got all of our ats on there. Make sure you follow us up on Instagram. Do you get what I'm trying to say? All of us, all you man who just want to run to Jack for jokes and that. You get me? Obviously, you got my at now. You can at me in the jokes as well, innit? You know, man, we hit Jack with what's it? That fat? What's the fat, brother? So obviously, bro's gonna.
So what's going on here? Are we live?
Yes,
man. Where's the comments at?
Check the comments on the right hand side.
Bro, you're so. This guy is so old and like he's so
Come on.
How can that you, Stefan, say no Chris, no party when the Spice Head is right here?
He's right
there.
That's
straight, baby. No Chris, no party, but I'm here.
I'm here. Stevie Wonder. Cheers, big up Victor, mate.
How come I can't see the cut? Is it because I got my phone running?
Yeah,
because obviously Chris is on his phone.
Make sure you super chat people so that Chris can actually afford a laptop because currently he's on his phone. It's a bit peak right now.
Hey, make sure you not leave us
and run out.
Huh?
The CheekySport furlough, innit? Done.
Yeah.
We will be covering you in your way.
Cheeky Towers is out. But they got fancy new streaming here.
Hey, look, Jack, this is why I didn't want comments on screen. Stuff like this. You ready?
What they saying? Hey, trust me. It's furlough, kids. Hey, Vic, the furlough got man.
Victor, bring on you, mate. That was hilarious.
You can't put lack of funds and that all on the team.
Lack of funds. Come, let's go. I'll give back to them as well. I'll give back to these men as well.
Hey, Jack. Kojo's big brother.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you,
come on in, calling.
Lack of money.
Man, this is why I didn't want to do live because it goes mad.
Yeah, everyone in the comments right now.
Yeah, big up. Listen, big up everyone in the comments right now. But we're gonna get to some of this football talk, and we're gonna continue on with some of the stuff.
Hey, Victor, send Jack all your tunes.
Only if you super
daily for you.
Yeah, only if you super. All right, so listen to what I'm trying to say. Yeah, basically, we were discussing
the comments though.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my.
Right, we were discussing this week. Yeah. In regard, I'll put him on mute. Yeah, because it's way easier. We were discussing last week. The fact that I was saying players are a bit fearful to kind of go back to work, go back to football. We should be kind of, considerate of how fearful they are of going back to work. I was basically trying to say no one should really be going back to work during this time. But hey ho, everyone's been out and about since the sun's been out. So I wanted to. So, throughout the week in our group chat, we've seen a few players basically get caught doing madnesses. We've had man doing balloons, man getting slipping out here. And I feel like every single time we catch somebody, you have Jack who kind of comes in and says, oh, what? And these men are scared, yeah? What? Yeah. These men are scared, yeah? Like, so I wanted to kind of get onto that, Jack. Why do you keep dropping that for starters?
Yeah, why?
And our point.
Listen, I'll be honest. I am sure there's a lot of players, not a lot, so there's a select few players out there that are genuinely scared about returning because number one, they have elders in their family, i.e., mothers or grandmothers that live in their house.
What, which is perfectly.
Huh?
Just the select few have elders.
Yeah, there's not. You think their parents? How many footballers do you think live with their parents?
Carry on, man. Drink some milk.
How many footballers? No, genuinely, how many do you
Drink
think
some
live
milk,
with
bro.
their parents?
Carry
A
on.
couple. Brandon Williams, that's it.
That's what I'm saying. Not many, like younger players or foreign players that have moved to the country and brought their family over. Maybe them as well.
Like, go to bed, bro.
Listen. To those people, I get it. Fair enough. You're worried about going back to football, but there's a lot of footballers out there that are number one scared their club's going to get relegated and they're going to go down to the Championship. Then their wages get cut by 25%. Standard procedure. Number two,
Whoa.
you've got players that just don't want to go back to play. They want to enjoy the time off and enjoy, taking the money in, and they're using this as an excuse to not get back into football.
Rightfully so.
You know what I mean? So for me personally, I think there's a lot more players out there that are doing madness behind closed doors that you don't see. There's just a select.
Do you honestly?
How do you know that? How do you know that?
No, you feel like the players doing a madness.
When I say
more
madness, I mean like doing stuff that
on a responsible one.
it's enjoying themselves.
I see a girl paying FIFA every night, though, you prat.
Huh?
I see a girl paying FIFA every bloody night. What are you on about?
So what? What are you talking about?
Bro,
Bro,
He's telling me every man's out there doing up a madness.
Yeah, no, bro. Bro,
I
what
see
you
Ronaldo with his family.
Sorry. Can you mute him for 1 sec? Because this guy's chatting rubbish again. Listen to me. I didn't say everyone. I said there's players out there that haven't been caught that are doing the same thing as well. The only things we're seeing are the things that have been documented and caught out. Like a lot of these players, like I said, for example, he got caught. That's stupidness. Like if you're going to do stupid stuff like that, do it behind closed doors where the people that are around you are not going to snake you out. Like that shouldn't be going out into the press. You should leave no trace uncovered, because now you look like an idiot and you've got no case to come and say, yeah, I don't really feel like it's safe to go back to football, but you're banging balloons like it's a uni rave. Like, come on,
Yeah,
bro.
but you know what, Jack, to add to that, yeah, and Chris, what you're saying, everything that you see, always multiply it by like 10 or something, because obviously, if we've got in the last couple of weeks, 4 or 5 footballers now that have come out like with their pants down, ultimately, yeah, bro, that means there's bare players who are doing it. Bare players not dumb enough to get caught. That's the difference.
I don't have a problem with players doing balloons and getting drunk, whatever. That's fine. Listen, I'm all for.
Mute his thing. He's chatting shite.
You're not listening to me. I'm all for people enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Professional ballers. You're saying it's calm for them to be doing up balloons.
It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with me what they do in their personal life. If they turn up on the pitch and do the madness, do the business, that's fine by me. But you can't. I don't want to hear stuff about. I'm scared to go back to them.
Don't contradict yourself.
Yeah, you're doing that because you want to facilitate your madness.
Who contradicting themselves?
Do your balloons, but I don't care.
Instead of chucking out superlatives, name and shame these people. Go on. Don't give
we don't need to do name and shame, bro.
Because he can't.
No, we don't need to name and shame him.
He's saying to me, man, no. When I say name and shame, he just said, they're contradicting themselves. Well, show me a ball about contradicting themselves.
No. What I'm saying is, well, I will show you one. I'll say one. There's one footballer, that came out, okay, that's a Man City player that came out, and he did contradict himself because 3 days before he got caught, he done a video saying stay at home, protect the NHS. That's what he done.
I'm not talking about that campaign they've got to do. I'm not talking about that campaign they've got to do for work.
Bro, no. For work or not, it doesn't matter. They still contradict, bro. It doesn't matter. The fact is, he put it on his face.
He's got to say them thing. Are you telling me?
Obviously, yeah, because we had Jack Grealish in the car as well.
Bro, it doesn't matter if it's just for work.
Have you been out?
Have I been out? I've been outside, yeah. Obviously, everyone's been outside.
Where?
To the shops. I'm back. Yeah.
What? No.
I have not done it.
Huh?
What, you as well, Jack? Well,
Jack's
got to be careful.
No, because I'm not. What do you think I'm doing? Tell me. Explain to me. What do you think I'm doing? I want to hear it. You're presuming.
I see you partying before, man.
Hey, Chris, why are you? Hey, Chris, why are you under the bus like this? What happened there?
Why was you taking ballers on the bus for?
Huh?
We're not putting bro, it's news. It's national news. We're just talking about it.
Making the news, man, like it's something deep, man. These men need to relax, man. Let's relax for starters and let's sort out how we're going to do this thing legitimately. And then, you know what I mean? All this hoo-ha because they're bored. Now they're putting up stories about ballers because man are bored. They got no other stories to write. We're giving more credence to this.
Bro, let me just say. Can I just say one thing?
Okay, can I have a quick conversation? All right, so let's just because I feel like we're moving on to something else, really. Yeah,
let's go.
Here's what I want to ask. Okay, obviously we're talking about the fact that all I'm trying to say is I feel like the players that don't want to go back to ball. I think that and are being sensible. By the way, and are being sensible. I feel like that number is more than the 1 or 2 man you're catching out. What you lot are saying is that, do you know what I'm trying to say? What's the word?
Being responsible.
You guys are basically saying that there's still men that are, they're coming out and they're doing the mad thing, innit? So I'm trying to say, are football players role models?
I like this picture.
To a certain demographic, they are. To kids, they are. And I mean, when I say role models, it's very specific to certain things. For me personally, I think when it comes to day-to-day life and what they do in their outside life, I don't think it's too much of an issue in terms of like being a role model. But when it comes to a crisis, a national, worldwide crisis, where they're saying, look, you got to stay indoors and you're violating that, what sort of message does that portray to a younger generation?
I just thought, because I could have sworn you normally, Jack always says like, oh no, let the players do what they're doing. They can do what
But you're going to come under fire if you do stuff in a national crisis when you're not supposed to. Because I think everyone should have the freedom to do what they want within reason, without causing crimes or whatever. But don't be surprised when you go and break lockdown rules and then suddenly you're being lambasted for it. What do you expect?
So maybe that's more of the conversation. Maybe the conversation is more
facts.
What?
Maybe that's more so the conversation, and the man them shouldn't be out here doing a madness, basically. Like, it's not so much that they're breaking the rules. Is it the things that they're doing when they're breaking the rules that looks worse or not?
Yeah. If you got certain man going to parties and crashing their cars.
This is an example, yeah. All right, so I'll give you guys a typical example. We had a player that was getting scrutinized for going to see his mum and dad.
That's a bit different.
So what do you look at that? Do you guys still see that as irresponsible?
When was that? When was
that? The other day.
Well, bro, the way I see it is simple, innit? If it's irresponsible for you to do it, it's irresponsible for them to do it. Simple. If it's not, then it's not. That's it. Bro, the problem is when you start putting people on different pedestals for different reasons. For that, the simple fact of the matter is, yeah, like I said over the last couple of weeks, footballers need to be treated like everyone else, both in a positive and negative way.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be over criticized, blah, blah, blah. But they also, if they do something that you will get in trouble for, if you were working at a construction company, then they should also get in trouble for it. That's it. Simple as
that. Akeem, are you telling me that in this 2 month, 3 month where we've been off for, you've only seen your wife?
Correct. Bro, you think I'm gonna go see bro, what do you think I'm gonna do? What do you think I'm doing? Exactly.
You've only seen one person.
Yeah, obviously I've seen other people and I've gone outside, but I've not seen, as in I've seen people at the shops.
Chris, what about you, mate? Because I think it's you.
Me? Don't worry about me. I'm saying it's.
Wait. Chris, let me ask you a question.
Leave these men alone.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Have you been seeing other people in this?
Damn skippy.
Yeah, so you're part of the people who are breaking the lockdown rules. Okay, cool.
Outlaw, baby. Man, outlaw.
That's why you're saying what you're saying now. That makes sense. Cool. So
I'm saying, 1, leave the ballers alone. Yeah. 2, it ain't that deep. Yeah. 3, man don't want to go back to work. No one wants to go back to work. They get worked into the ground. Now it's their turn to reap some rewards finally.
Chris, you're talking rubbish. You're talking rubbish.
You're saying they get rinsed to the ground in comparison to the everyday worker that has to work.
That's their job. Their job is their job.
No,
their job is their job.
Chris, you don't understand life, mate.
Right, you could do football you won't last a second in a real game, bruv.
Yeah, because I'm rubbish.
Look at your fitness and you're going to tell me that's dedication and hard work, brother. Look at you. Poo-pooing it because you can't do it.
Chris,
when did I say you go and play professional football? This is where you get twisted.
You couldn't last the pace. Forget the technique. You couldn't last the pace.
Okay, cool. What's the point?
What's that got to do with anything?
Do you know how hard they work? Do you know their schedule's mad?
Bro,
You know what it's like to travel and do 3 days a week.
So does everyone, bro.
You know what it's like to travel.
All I got to think about is my mum.
travel.
I've got to think about my mum when she was younger, single parent. She'd go to work, come back from work, pick me and my sister up from after school club. Then we go.
Greasy Pole story.
Then
I've done them.
go and do the same thing the next day. And you're telling me
the Greasy Pole story.
I don't want to hear it. No.
We don't need it because there's ballers that have come through war zones, brother.
Yeah, of course. What's that to do with that though?
So you can give me your Greasy Pole story. I don't want to hear it.
Chris, you're putting footballers on a pedestal. That's your point.
No,
that's your flaw.
I'm saying give
that's your flawed argument.
now. I'm saying give them an arrest.
Like I said, you're putting them on a pedestal. You're not listening to me, Chris. You're not listening to me. You're putting them on a pedestal. Construction workers don't get rest. Do you not understand this, geezer? It's life, bro. That's how life is.
All right, let me just read out some of the. Let me read out some of the comments.
All right, here's a few comments.
We do have the super chat. Make sure you guys think. Yeah, Maria Williams says the rules are for everyone. So basically, she don't care. Chris, she's talking to you, geezer. Yeah.
Who is
Maria Williams?
Maria.
Guna,
saying the rules are the rules.
Big up Guna Eagle Eye. He said, Chris, I beg you stop smoking before shows, bro. You used to have arguments that make sense.
My stuff makes sense later on, brother. Trust me. When all is revealed.
Listen to this one. I think this one's interesting. All Things Random says if you don't work now, you'll pay for it later.
Sad reality of life.
Facts.
We have to be realistic here. This is the life. Okay? This is what we got to deal with. The longer we stay out of this, the worse we are going to be in the future. Let's move on. You're telling me
poorly run clubs will be in trouble. Poorly run clubs will be in trouble, not the ones that are being run properly, my guy.
All right, so let's talk about.
Let me ask one thing. Look. You think what do you think will happen to football if a whole year is taken out? We don't go back to football. What do you think?
Don't worry.
Huh? And on that note, hey Dyke, just before we move on, just so you guys understand, there's a high chance that League 2 and League 1 clubs are going to go out. If football don't come back in the next couple of months, League 1 and League 2 clubs are going to go out of business.
You've got to separate the wheat and the chaff, my fellas.
What?
You gotta separate it. It's time. It's a new day.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a new day. What we do before is done. It's a new bloody day. So if teams gotta go, they gotta go.
Bro,
people get put in Smiths. They get put in Smiths. It's a new day.
You're an idiot.
We're doing up remote filming. It's a new day, fellas.
So how are teams supposed to change?
Okay, so you're telling all the clubs that there's men out there and women and kids who, you know, their livelihoods depend on going to see their League 1 or League 2 or Conference South team every weekend. There's a community that runs around that club. You're saying, oh, forget about them. It's a new day. Yeah, let's just keep it moving. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You can't say
that. What about you, my guy? The Premier League are signing themselves up for potential corporate manslaughter if these games go ahead. Facts.
Okay, so Bundesliga are doing that as well. Then,
okay, speaking about Bundesliga, how dead was it though?
It was good football.
As you said, these are the new times,
only the 4 big leagues will continue. The Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, and Bundesliga. That's what they care about. All the other leagues are in spliffs. Celtic, also Scottish League done, French League done, Dutch League done.
Yeah, but they're looking to rethink that idea in the Dutch League, and I'm thinking the French League as well. So they're a bit.
What did you not think about it though? Like the way they did the substitutions, the way they did the celebrations with all kind of socially distant stuff. What did you not think?
It's done because I can do social. Why do social distance celebration if you're already paying and touching and barging man and spitting? This is absurd. And people looking at me like I'm a madman.
You are a madman.
Shut up.
That make no sense. That's true. That don't make sense.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I agree with you on. That doesn't make sense. How can you go in for a tackle or tussle in the box for a free kick or a corner where you're literally that close to each other a lot of the time, but then you can't celebrate with each other. I think that's ridiculous.
So you see, all right. So the Scottish league voided their thing, yeah, and they made Celtic champion, yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, with their thing, did they talk about what's going to happen with relegation and money and stuff like that, or did they just put it in a spliff and it was done?
I'm not too sure. I think, to be honest, when you weigh up the money,
I'm only saying that because it is obviously possible for them. We all know that it can be done, innit? And I know that we've been talking about the corporate manslaughter and clubs are going to be in serious trouble if the games don't go ahead. But there are leagues that are basically saying, listen, it's done, it's over. Why shouldn't
there's not a lot? There's not
only ones that ain't saying it's done at the top leagues. Too much money.
There is too much money. That's the reality. We can sit here and say, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. But at the end of the day,
of course, clubs voted for trade.
I feel like remember, yeah. So the Premier League clubs actually voted, yeah, for the teams to go back to training, players to go back to training, and the results said it was unanimous. So
unanimous.
I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing.
Can you hear us?
Why can't I hear?
Can you hear us?
We don't know, bro.
Bad people could be storching this in the chat.
Yeah, you know what it is, yeah. So it's like it was unanimous that all the Premier League clubs wanted to put the players back to training, back to working in small groups and all of that. So
it's only really the clubs that are really piping up, bro. Like all the players that I see piping up are all in relegated teams. And look, they're entitled to that. Where's Chris gone?
No, he's gonna come back. Don't worry.
They're all entitled to their opinion. I'm not here to tell people you can't do this, can't do that. But at the same time, there's a specific pattern here. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic here.
So I don't really understand what Chris is saying. Chris is basically saying he doesn't want the league to go on, but he also doesn't want players to be doing social distancing, and players should go out. It's a bit confusing. I can't lie.
And you know, all of this is that, like I said, it's like everything has to restart at some point, innit? Everything.
Chris.
Yeah, people say you went to go get twice.
Can you just please sign up for me, bro? Because man, proper don't understand one thing. You're telling me, yeah, that basically you want the players to be doing up social distancing, right? No, you don't want them doing social distancing, but you want to put the league in a spliff because you want the players to chill.
So what I'm saying, yeah,
but because you basically said you're going out, you're
going out doing whatever, but then you're worried about them going.
Man should be able to go out, but then you also want the league in a spliff. No, I just want to clarify this up, just because everyone's getting a bit confused. You said,
I'm saying, yeah.
You want man? Are you saying that man should stay in their yard? Are you saying man should stay in their yard?
I'm saying no. I'm saying the league should get put in a split, and let's see how they're gonna do this properly, because you can't run it like this, man. Like I'm saying, how's contact sports gonna run? How's that gonna happen? Do you know what I mean? There's no vaccine. I'm gonna run the run.
I hate you.
Now, my second thing is, you better ask me about that. Why am I complaining about the man of the football pitch? Because it is dumb. If they're going to do it, if you're going to be playing the game,
forget that. We're talking about players leaving their yard, bro. You just said men are leaving their yard. You accused the Keem of leaving his yard. You accused Jack of leaving his yard. So you're basically saying you want players.
No, I'm only using it as an argument because they're complaining about that. But these men, how can you bitch and moan when you're leaving your yard too?
They're not leaving their yard. You're leaving your yard. You're putting what you're doing on them.
Do you think these men ain't left their yard?
I said it.
I don't know. I can't say for certain.
Big man, have you left your yard?
No.
You're the only one that's left your yard here. You're trying to come at us.
Yeah, listen, I'll come clean, yeah? You see, when lockdown happened, I stayed at home the whole time. The only exchange man has had is my sister came to give my sons Easter eggs. That is it.
Big man, when lockdown was happening, Big man, when lockdown happened, you wasn't in LA. You wasn't in LA, no, Big man.
No, that was before Boris made the announcement.
That was before.
That was before Boris made the announcement, I swear.
But you know what?
That was March, bro.
Chris,
you was out there when lockdown.
I was out there because admittedly I didn't rate the thing. But since he said stay in your yard, because I got asthma, bro. Man stayed in my yard, bro. I ain't played no games with that.
There's
Chris,
one comment here. It's a very good.
Hold on, Chris, what are you trying to say? Just to be clear.
I didn't even go shop.
Chris, what are you trying to say?
I didn't go shop. I
I'm
swear.
trying to say you managed to allow the ballers, yeah? Allow them. Get off their backs is what I'm saying.
I just want to clear one thing up very quickly. You're saying you're going and doing your thing, going out the yard and everything, but you're saying we got to put the league in a spliff because of social distancing. So I'm trying to figure out: are you for everyone staying in their yard? And
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to.
Don't worry about what I'm doing.
You're
You're remixing things here to try and find the valid point here. Don't worry about what
there's no remix. That's
We're talking about the football.
That's exactly
football here. And I'm saying to get off their back. Don't worry about what I do.
Well, Chris,
I'm going to say don't worry when you ask everyone else.
We're talking about the ballers. I ain't a baller. We're talking about ballers.
all right, Chris, I'm asking a simple question. Chris, do you feel, if you're saying the players, we should get off the players' back, yeah? Are you trying to say that man should be able to leave their yard? That's all I'm asking.
We're allowed to leave our yards now anyway.
Like Chris is a politician today. I see you, brother. I see you, brother.
Let me read this one. I think this is a very valid point.
Lil Kim style.
Jermaine, let me read that one comment, please.
Yeah,
I've said this. Oksana, this is a very good point. There will never be zero risks. Football has to continue from a business point of view if we don't want clubs to go bust. Footballers are going to be in the safest environment possible anyway. I think that sums it up.
That sums it up. But Chris, you don't get that. Chris, life has to carry on at some point. So
again, whoever just made that comment dumb about Chris,
you don't understand it.
Why am I a hypocrite, you prat? What I'm doing is my business. Them man paying a contact sport. I'm gonna be meeting no one, you prat, when I go out. That's what I'm doing.
It's not about you, Chris. It's not about you. You're right. Again, it's not about you, Chris.
Me. Don't let Jack.
No. You're right.
Bamboozle you, man. Don't be.
You're right. No, Chris. All I wanted to make clear was it just didn't make sense to me because you wanted me off the players' back, meaning it sounded like to me you wanted to let the players do what they want, but at the same time you want to put the league in a spliff. So
why are you doing with him? He's talking rubbish, mate.
No, I'm not.
Know what he's talking about.
The league's done, man. It's done. The league's done.
He doesn't know what he's
only
talking
doing
about.
it for the money aspect.
You're right.
It's all about
You're right. The league is done.
Then what?
In all honesty, the league is done. They could have easily given it to Liverpool. The league is done.
No. You man don't get the problem. It's not about closing the league. Yeah, it's not about that. Yeah, the problem is
about the contract,
bro.
We know it.
No. I'm not going to say that. Even if they lock off the league right now, yeah, the fact of the matter is, at some point, football has to come back, and at some point, social distancing, everything that Bundesliga done on the weekend, whether it's dumb or not, because really they've just done it for role models, so you look good, so it looks good, so kids watching probably can aspire to it. That's the truth, because we all know that's dumb, innit? Yeah, but the reality is, football at some point has to come back. Yeah, like every sport, like every place of work. It's not just about money. Yeah, in my opinion, it's not just about money.
It's all about
money.
Just
about money. At some point, these things have to happen. That's all I'm saying. And you're saying put in a spliff. Yeah, that's fine, Chris. That makes sense. Yeah, but if you do that, you got to live that in your own life as well. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah,
and you don't live it. Chris, you don't live it.
Again. You don't know where I've been. You don't know,
bro. You just told. Listen, this is not about Chris. It's not about Chris.
It is about Chris. You can have an opinion.
Nobody the next one. I might not have met nobody. The same way you gone to the shop. My shop might be in Oxford, bro.
Bro, you just said you didn't. Bro, I asked you literally. Yeah.
You know, let's not make it. I don't want to make this about who's going.
Like I'm a baller. It's so personal on me.
No, it's not about you, Chris. Sorry. It's not about you.
Let me say one thing.
Yeah, Chris, go on, Jack.
Chris, if Arsenal were top of the league right now, would you be saying put it in a spliff?
Yeah, that pause, leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
That pause.
Bro, you know, can I just say one thing?
The man who's a walking.
Chris is trying to say give Liverpool the trophy. So if Arsenal are top of the league, of course Arsenal are going to get the trophy. It's consistent.
Chris, what's your answer?
I say just scrap everything from this.
Exactly. Season. Yeah, exactly. I told you, don't follow this man. Don't follow him. Lead you to a dark path.
Chris, if Arsenal top of the league, you'll just say, give us the trophy, no? And done it, put it in the split.
Yeah, of course.
If
But
it's
wait, hold on, Chris. You're also saying just give the trophy to Liverpool now and put it in the split, right?
I'm saying just put the whole thing in the split.
Oh, right. You're not saying that Liverpool should get the trophy.
man is a politician.
Man City were looking strong. Arsenal was had momentum.
Chris is taking. All right, Chris, you're on trolling today.
You know, with the league, anything can happen, baby.
I see you today.
Stop defending him. You don't know what he's talking about.
I didn't know he's going to be on this.
The only thing being put in a spliff is Chris's bias. That's the only thing being put in a
Jack,
spliff.
all you care about, you know what, Jack? You know what Jack's done? He's got this little piece of hope, and he thinks Fulham are going to come up. Bruh, shut
He's
the
not
F up.
even caring about that.
Yes, he does, man. He's
He's
trying to make
not
out. Jermaine, are you thick? Are you a thicko? He's trying to make out as if he don't care. That's all he cares about. That is all he cares about, bruh.
Bro,
Don't get twisted.
If
He's
the
actually
season
not
goes
innocent
wrong,
down
I mean,
there.
if they said, look,
Listen, he thinks Fulham can still come up in his heart of hearts. In your heart of hearts, Jack, are Fulham coming up?
we're third in the league, so if it
Are
carries
you
on,
in your heart of hearts, are you coming up?
what does that
It's a
mean?
yes or
I
no.
can't sit here and
It's
say,
a
yeah.
yes or no. It's in your hearts of hearts, brother. Are Fulham coming up?
If season starts again, in my heart of hearts, I believe we'll get promoted. Yes, that's got nothing to do. What's your point, though? If it look, if we continue the season and we didn't make it, then so be it. It's not about whether Fulham get promoted or not. It's about the integrity of the sport and ending the season in the correct manner.
Shut up,
You can't look back on that and go, oh yeah, look, well this has happened, so we just got to scrap it. Let's
As
start.
America put in the split sounds, wild fam. British flag is wild fam. You get it, boy? We're wild. Baby, we got you, baby. Where you from, baby? Where you from, baby?
Yo, sorry, Chris is.
Like it no sense. Like it no sense.
You don't need those things.
Like everything else.
People
I'm
need
always
comments.
right on this show. Find me some receipts where man is wrong. You can't find them. You know why?
Like, you know what it is? I don't listen. This whole thing is not
Jackson
like supposed
FC
to be-
alone.
It's not supposed to be like a.
Hey,
It's
give Victor some sort of a gift or prize or something. My man's been up in them comments non-stop.
Listen, all I'm trying to say is I'm not trying to. It's not. We're not supposed to be personally attacking each other or what we're doing. It's just more so. It's like you got this. We got. It's just that for so many weeks we was talking about the cap. You know what I mean? The capitalist side of the game, and now we're discussing more so the moral side of the game since last week. And obviously within this last week we've had so much players doing up a madness. Yeah, we've also had Bundesliga back. So you know, it's like It's like. Even though I was talking more so, I was with Chris in terms of we might as well just end it. At the same time, if man are going to be going out anyway, and like we're saying, it's a contact sport, and man want to go up, link gallon, crash whip, and all of that, we might as well just play the game and get it done. We already know Bundesliga are doing it. What Akeem? A game every 3 days. It's like the Christmas period, basically.
Yeah.
Listen,
Bring
we've
that-
got
They're looking overweight.
the players have only just gone back into training. We can look at how the Bundesliga is operating and see where they've gone wrong and where they're going right, and just adapt from there. We've got a case study there to actually look at, and
It's
you know,
Division 1 in the split, by the way.
try and put it a similar way. It's common sense, bruh. It's common sense.
Let me ask you something then. So why, Jack? So why is the Premier League and Division 1 allowed to go on, but Division 2 and 3 on the split?
It's money, Chris.
Money, bro.
Why is Division 2 and 3
Chris,
on the
what you have
split?
to understand, Chris, what you have to understand here is the Premier League, the big leagues, like the Bundesliga, Premier League, blah, blah, blah. It's like these are run by organizations, okay? Organizations that can help
Exactly.
fund.
You know what? My man's right. Germany's a different case altogether. We had the highest case in Europe.
Yes.
Second highest in the world.
But Chris,
Put it in a split.
Chris, what you have to
Put
understand.
it in a
You
split.
know,
Where's my grinder? I've got one right here. Put
You don't
it in a split. My grinder's next to me. Yeah.
Listen,
We had the highest case. We got 34,000. We're a small bloody island, you know.
All right,
Small island.
It's cool.
34,000.
Chris,
We got the second highest strike in the world.
Chris.
yes, I know, and that's
You know why? Chris, you know why? Because answers like the answers you gave, and the footballers doing what they like, what they've been doing.
By me telling them to stay at home and put it in a split.
Chris.
It's
The
not
fact
happening.
of the
You
matter
keep asking and saying it's going to be put in a spliff. It's not being put in a spliff. Let's be honest here.
stop saying
Exactly.
it's
Football is
it's
the
not
least
happening.
important industry. I'm with my man here, man. It's
It
the
is.
least important industry.
We
Relax
agree.
ourselves, man.
I
Relax.
agree. I 100% agree.
And we talk like it's the most deep.
Anyway,
Like,
fine.
you don't
It's
agree,
all right.
you sack.
What?
You do
I
not
do.
agree.
I do agree.
He's a wind up.
Chris, this is what you don't get. Chris, this is what you don't get.
You're a wind up.
What? Who's a wind-up? Who's a wind-up? Chris, what I said, Chris, I never said football is essential. I never said football should be coming back right now. I never said that.
Conversation then.
What we were arguing about, Chris, what we were arguing about is the fact of footballers contradicting themselves. That's what we've been arguing about for the last couple of weeks. That's it, bro. Live and be true. And by the way, bro, this goes to any industry, any person. Yeah? It's not just footballers. That's it. It's just because footballers in the last couple of weeks have been in the press about it. If flipping Leonardo DiCaprio came out and said everyone stay at home, and then you see him on set doing a film or some madness, then he's contradicting himself. He's a hypocrite. Simple.
Listen, let's be honest here. I think a lot of people are starting to slowly get back into normal life to an extent.
I was gonna say that, Jack. I was gonna say that, even though I ain't been outside, yeah,
there's
like,
bare people
outside. All right. Today I went to go get some. Today I wanted to go get some stuff for the house, for the shop, Tesco, whatever. Yeah.
I thought you had been out.
The way that man are outside, the way the shop.
I thought you had been out.
It's food.
Bro, food. That's why I said for the first month I didn't even go to the shop. For the first month I didn't even go to the shop. Anyway, I'm trying to say, yeah, when I went outside, I'm not gonna lie.
Is that how you lost that weight? Is that how you lost that weight, geezer?
Yeah, no food shop, geezer. You get me? Pizza Hut closed, McD's closed. They've done. They're trying to kill me.
This time, Jack asking for Just Eat vouchers.
That was before lockdown.
No, I'm just saying it does. I agree with Jack in the sense that it does feel like everything's going back to normal anyway, and people don't even care, man. Like, let's keep it real, bro.
Man.
You know what it is? I'm so done. We might as well just get this Premier League done and dusted. See what Bundesliga are doing. And you're right, it's not exactly the same, but in terms of playing the game every 3-4 days, do that, run it up. Bro, it was a unanimous vote. All the clubs already know they're about this. We all know what it is. They unanimously voted for everyone to go back to training. The players seem like they're bored already, like, because I was kind of scared for their safety. But you know what? Now the more I think about it, the more you guys go back and forth, it's honestly, they might as well just go back and finish it quick.
Bro, I just can't believe we're even talking about it. It's just the man.
So does that mean
No, but you know what it is? It was the moral point, Akeem. And it's just been crazy that since we mentioned the moral aspect of it last week, this week there has been a lot of cases of madness.
Oh no, 100%. No, I'm not saying it's not a news story. I'm just saying if you just deep it, bro, like we just don't. No one is. I know you said it before that you're backing it for other industries, bro, but no one is talking about, bro, when all of one industry had to go back this week, construction, for example, no one kicked up like this. It's just the way it is. When your employer tells you to go back, you go back or you quit. Simple. That's life. Move on.
Yeah, listen, ideal world, things would be done very differently, but we have to realize the reality of the situation 100%. And how we adapt around it. 100%. Ideally, a lot of people would never go back to work ever again and just be paid furlough. But that's not realistic. That's not the way the world operates. Okay, we need to understand. We need to shift back into normal society at some point. This is how things work. There's been loads of in the past. There's been loads of illnesses that have spread the world. Maybe not in our lifetime to this extent, but in prior times it's happened. This is the circle of life to an extent.
All right, guys, listen. Let's just everybody right now. Let's get your questions in for the football thickers in quarantine. Let us know right now. We're gonna talk through a few comments before we wrap up the show. So make sure you guys get all of them in. I know you guys are atting each other. Sorry about the super chat. I thought it was already enabled, but it obviously weren't enabled this week. It's gonna be there ready.
Typical. Typical.
They didn't want to see us elevate, bro. That's why.
Typical.
All right, someone said Jai got a platinum record for twerking for H. Wow.
Oh, come on.
That's all right now.
I know, I'm missing these.
Someone
I
said I
who
put
wins
away
this
as
season?
well. Someone
I
said-
like that one.
Who wins it next season? Let's answer the question.
Who wins it? Oh, don't know, Chris. You
I
are.
would say it's between Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool. Yeah.
What was that, Keem? What was the question?
Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool.
I
What
think
about-
City will win next year.
City ain't in the title race next year.
Oh, shut up, Keem!
Pep and Kevin De Bruyne are gone once that
Next question.
once that ban kicks in.
Ask
Bro, you didn't even talk about this about a month ago. Kevin De Bruyne literally said he's going to assess his options if the ban is held. Do you man know that? Yeah, that's what Kevin De Bruyne said.
Dortmund.
They're in the title race next year.
Yeah.
What clubs are you supporting in Bundesliga right now?
The first time I ever saw Dortmund was in the Champions League '96, and I watched them get to the final. That's when I was like, yeah, I like this lot.
So you're Dortmund. I've chosen
'95.
relegation side to match, you know, my team. So I've chosen Paderborn. That's my team. I like Dortmund.
I'm not supporting any, but I'll watch it.
Big J.
God,
Well,
man.
you
might know I don't know any German teams, Rude boy. You gotta act like I know any German teams.
Hey, Jay,
like growing up, did you like Dortmund? I used to call them Ussio Dortmund.
You know
Ussio Dortmund.
Yeah,
not Borussia, Ussio.
Don't get smart with me, Chrissy boy. Don't get smart.
That's what I used to say. That's what I used to say.
Hey, Jay, let me ask you a question. Did you watch Bundesliga this weekend when it came back?
Yeah, I watched it. I watched
you
and them by looking big. Sancho looking big.
Hey, no, this thing's clicking on mad ones because the
Grealish
moving so fast. The ones I click on ain't even coming up.
Pogba's a letdown. Grealish putting more of a shift. Grealish for putting more of a shift.
You know what? I feel like we needed to touch on this. Football doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't. And you know why? So I'll tell you why, Sammy girl, Sammy boy, wherever you are, let me tell you why. Now, let me tell them why. Because ballers get paid too much at such a young age now, yeah? They've forgotten what it was. I'll say this to my guy, big man up here, how Wayne Rooney is the last of a dying breed, like 50 Cent, the last gangster in rap.
So you're saying
the last bad boy, you know why? Because man was getting paid 70 racks a week as a professional footballer, scoring goals against David Seaman, yeah, against the champions of England, against Arsenal, yeah. He's on £70 a week. Theo Walcott and them, man. Jesse Lingard, the new few. I don't know why this Pratt's doing his head like that for. If they give him Mitrovic 100 and something racks, he's the Division 1 player. Get the heck out of it.
Yeah, because it moves.
A Division 1 player on 50 plus racks.
Why do you know what's mad?
What planet are we on?
Do you know
What planet are we on? 50 racks a week was reserved for players like bloody Roy Keane, brother. Roy Keane, bad boy Roy Keane. Now they're giving it to bloody Sessignon.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Don't piss me off, man. Theo Walcott holding Arsenal to ransom, 120 grand a week. These footballers ain't hungry no more, man. They don't want
when you
shut up, man. You're a mess, man. You got no discipline. Shut up.
No. Akeem. Look, so this guy a minute ago was saying we got to protect footballers at all costs. They're being run to the ground. Yeah. They need a rest, and now you're having to go about how much money.
Arguments, you dickhead.
Make your mind.
That's a argument, you prat. Don't try and remix it. Try and make your argument better. Don't know you. This ain't the playground, bro. Don't remix it. That's remixing. If it's Don't remix it, Jack.
Let me tell you what's done.
You are remixing, brother.
Chris, let me tell you what's done. Football. You know what's mad? Football, yeah.
You're moving like Akeem.
Chris, football and football fans are the only ones. They're the only ones that sit and moan all day, every day about how much a man earns. That's it, bro. Do you want to start talking about how much Leonardo DiCaprio got in a movie, or how much Michael Jordan got when he was at Chicago Bulls? People don't talk about that in other sports, you know. It's only football. People are like, "Oh, 100 grand a week. Why is he getting 100 grand a week?" Shut up,
at the end of the day,
again, you're fake. This way you're fake, and this way
you guys just one at a time, please.
What I said was, yeah, man like Theo Walcott and Jesse Lingard, whoever put in a shift should not get paid 100 racks.
Why are you saying that money? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Why are you bringing that money?
Top ballers get paid 100 racks plus.
Chris, hold
on. Get paid 100 racks for selling peanuts?
Hold on.
No,
Chris,
you don't.
this is what you man need to think.
It
Chris,
don't work like that,
Chris,
you cock.
Chris,
You get what you deserve, and he doesn't deserve the 100
Chris,
racks. Again,
Chris,
that's reserved for top ballers.
Chris,
Wayne Rooney,
Chris,
Messi, Ronaldo, Ozil, them man, 100 racks plus.
Chris,
Give it to them.
that's
Patrick
what.
Vieira,
Hold on,
don't give it to
Jack.
Theo Walcott.
Hold on,
He deserves 25 racks,
Chris,
30 racks.
Chris. That's your
Danny
opinion.
Welbeck is a
Chris,
90 racks a week. Come
Chris,
on.
that's your opinion.
Come on.
That's your opinion. But Chris, that's the same way
That's
that
my opinion.
Chris,
That's common sense, bro.
Chris, that's the same way that a half-baked artist, music artist, makes more than someone who you think's 10 times better.
Okay,
that's the
music's
way the
different.
world
Again,
works.
music's
Caesar.
different.
You don't
Music's
understand that.
different because it's called a one-hit wonder, and you can live with that forever.
It
Don't put
doesn't
that
matter.
in
We're
the
talking about
same
money.
thing as
We're talking about
paying
money.
No,
Bro,
it's
it doesn't
again,
matter.
that's two different things, brother.
No. It doesn't matter.
No, we're talking about a man should get paid. Footballers get paid on ability, yes? Facts. That's a fact.
No.
Now,
That's
we
wait.
we
Chris.
got paid with some ability.
No,
Listen to me. Let me land you, Pratt. Then you can say your piece.
You don't
We've
understand
got
football.
substandard players,
You don't
yeah,
understand football.
getting paid more than champions. You know what I'm saying? Getting paid more than some champions. Don't tell me about inflation either. I don't want to hear that. If we're going to give man 25 racks, 50 racks at most then. Theo Walcott should not be paid 120 racks when he was at Arsenal at that time. He was holding that to ransom because he knew we couldn't, because that was our last star left. We lost all of them from Van Persie to Bio. We lost them all. And he was the last one left, held the bloody club to ransom because it's like, oh, we can't lose another big name player because he's been there for so long. He became this big name player. When everyone knew his ability was half bloody baked. Half-baked Everton player is where he belongs. I love Theo. You've done some good things, but he was inconsistent, brother. That was it. He did not deserve the 120 win. I don't care what graph he put in. That's reserved for top players.
Okay, Chris, you don't understand football. Let me explain. Let me explain something. It's not what one factor is ability. One factor is ability. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the factor of their merchandise value is what matters. Yeah, so Pogba sells £10 million worth of shirts. That means he's worth more than someone who can't do that. Like, how is this something a conversation we're having? The same applies to every area of music, yeah, and film and entertainment. That's just the way it is. That's the maddest thing. That's the maddest thing. Like, how do you? Does he not know he's muted?
He doesn't know he's muted. He's gonna kill me.
You know what you are, Jermaine? You lick bum. You're lick ass.
Well, you talking a lot, bro.
You won't do no one else, yeah? When you let man talk over man. You don't do no one else. But you're gonna beat me.
Jack, did I not meet Akeem?
You mean
No.
you did?
Did I meet Akeem?
Yeah.
You were talking so much, you didn't even clock.
I didn't see you get muted, bro.
You started thanking Theo. I was thinking, who gives a toss of anything? Talking about I don't care, bruv. Stop faking Theo when you're making a point. Get to it.
Payment's not just about
Theo, thank you, sorry, but you weren't. You didn't even know. You was waffling so much.
It's still served, man, isn't it? It's still served, man.
I don't know.
Respect is due.
Akeem, we get it. There's more value in a player than football. You take long to get to points as well. They're what their ability is. We get it.
How do you not understand that, Chris? How do you not understand that?
Listen, all Chris is trying to say is, I don't even know what Chris is trying to say.
Bro,
Listen,
you're agreeing with man. You're agreeing with him.
I'm never agreeing with man.
You are agreeing with me.
Akeem, we know how the world works. We're talking about a hypothetical situation and what he feels it should be. You're talking about how it works.
You are agreeing with me, though.
Bro. I get it.
That's it. It's cool.
I agree. All I'm saying is,
guys,
it happens in every single sport.
Say that again.
Should we answer some more questions? Because people say,
no, it's done. We've been on 49 minutes. Don't get gas. Don't get gas because we're doing up live. Especially you, Akeem. And Akeem is always like, we should do a 2-hour show. You might think I want to hear you man scream at each other for 2 hours. You're muscle mad.
It's at least
Listen, I ain't gonna lie. This might have to get comment of the day.
Black RVD, you're Scotland.
Someone said 49 mins, but at least 30 mins was Chris 9.
What was that one?
Listen, everybody who's kind of been joining us this week. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us on our first ever Fickos in Quarantine live.
We love you, man.
We
might
be doing a quiz this week, innit?
Make sure you guys follow us. Yeah, we are gonna be doing a quiz this week. So all that quiz talk we've been doing is about to come to an end, ladies and gentlemen. It's about
but hold on a minute. Let me tell you something, Pendero, about that for starters. Last time we done a blasted quiz, Frankie Dettori was giving out the most mad questions. I expect man to know them things there. Like, there was some mad things there. Like,
don't worry.
Come on, like, what
I want the questions to be 30 because last time one of the questions was rank these Premier League clubs in order of the most expensive pie. I don't want them questions. I want
you should know that, nah? You should know that, right?
Hey, listen.
Games like goes to the amount of pies he be eating. Come on.
All right. Listen. Guys, make sure you guys follow us on the socials. That's my @ there. That's Akeem. That's Laka Chris. Yeah, just listen.
Hold on. By the way, before we do go, what's your favorite pie?
What?
Hey, listen, man. It's Big J. Over and out, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Peace.